This is a coop that I built after looking at a ton of resources online, and then I wanted to have as few as cuts as possible. So basically it's a 4x8 box with a roof on it. But I'm going to show you what I did and some things that I would do different. All right, so if you notice, like the sides 4x8, this side's a little bit what is it, shorter down there? Actually, shouldn't be. Should be the same. Should be a 4x. This should be a box. Should go measured it. Looks different just because it's taller, but I bet you if I went and measured it, because the bottom is a 4x8, this side is a 4x8, so this has to be a 4x4. On the other side, the door is a 4x4, and then I could on the top. So this is one thing I didn't really count on, so I had to go a little bit over, because if this base is the whole thing is a 4x8, then when you put the roof on, you want the roof to overhang a bit. So these are everything I got here from Home Depot, and actually, well, some things I had on hand. You'll notice I put a door up front. I thought this would be a great way to have a door. I had the runway, and it did work for a while. I had to build some steps for them to get there. Knowing what chickens do now, this right here with just the blocks is good enough. Chickens can hop. They don't actually need a massive runway. They would usually just go to about here, then hop up and then go in. Eventually, I added this omelet auto door. Hey, guy. And I just recently took the control unit off and put it on this coop over there, because that guy died, and none of the chickens are in this coop. But anyway, auto door is great. So it senses the sun, it will open and close, and let them in and out, keeps them safe. I bought this light to go on top, so it gives them a 10-minute warning when this door is gonna shut, so they can kind of be guided back in. I use this one mostly for chicks, and I don't usually let the chickens stay in here past maybe like 30 or 40 days. So I did try. I haven't used the auto door very often, but I did try with the last one, and I didn't integrate. So typically what I'll do is I'll take the chicks after about 30 or 40 days, and I'll put them in this coop right here, or the other one that's on the other side that looks just like it, and get them used to the other chickens that are out there. This time I didn't do that. I just put the door on, I turned it on and said, hey, come in and out. And the chicks were very nervous about coming out. So I would lay some food up and over the runway so that they would be lured out. Eventually, they all came out, and they would stay under this tree right here and just hang out. And then at night, I went to go make sure everyone was away, and they were like too stupid to know they should go back up. So they were stuck right there in the tree. So as you can see right here, our chicken's free range, and we create or incubate more eggs so that they can live out here, but the predators are a real thing. The hawks and the coyotes come snatch them. So we incubate and get a whole lot of chicks to create decoys. So I'm not necessarily caring if they stay outside, because that's kind of their point. Now, I didn't want them all outside because there's like 30 of them under that tree. So we did pick them up and put them all back in. But my guys are meant to be living outside. So this is what they do. They scratch and look. And I just recently mowed, so there's bugs everywhere. Anyway, I don't know if the runway is a good idea. Now, I put the coop on stilts so that they could go underneath and hide if they want to. So that's worked out pretty good when they're looking for shelter. I also, in order to keep the wood, this is treated wood, but to keep it nice and solid and unrotty, I put a brick down low so that it's actually standing on a brick base. And then I hammered in an iron spike right there just to make sure it doesn't move. I mean, it's pretty heavy. I don't doubt it's gonna move, but why not be sure, right? I also had those laying around from something else. I did put the roofing cloth on there, which I was probably overkill. I probably didn't need to do that, but it's my first build and I'm an engineer, so I like to overdo it. The shingles are overlapping, so basically you start on the bottom and lay the top on, and then you cap it. What I did do is come back. So I had the top ridge line. I had two different materials, and my wife thought it was ugly. So she who must be obeyed said change it, so I did. So I got a closer match. And what I came back and did is I got the clear Gorilla Tape spray or Flex Seal, and I sprayed all the screws. You can see them right there. That way they have a rubber seal on them as well, keeping it rain tight. I did come back and add a mesh right here so it does ventilate, and a critter could, I mean it'd be pretty difficult, but they could climb up this wall, so I put another mesh right there so they can't get in. I literally just went in there and went with a saw and cut this box out, and then put a mesh, stapled in a mesh on the other side. And there is a latch so I can shut it. I'm gonna actually do this after the video now that the chicks are out. And I've got them held back just with these. I love these zip ties. If you press the button, you can undo the zip ties so they're reusable. So they got ventilation. You can see all the way through it. They got ventilation through the top. The roof, as I said, it overhangs. You can see it there. So the roof will keep dry and won't rot out on the edges. I do use these lights everywhere. These are great. So it's a motion sensitive light that you can't see it up there, but it's solar charged. And even right here with a lot of trees, it still gives enough charge that if something walks back here, I'm gonna see it go off, and I've got it all over the other areas too. So it's a great deterrent, or a great alerter. I left some room to run some electricity. Let me back up so you can see this. I got 2 lamps in here. Usually I start incubating, put chicks in here about February, so it is kind of cold. So I use, typically what I'll do, this guy's not set up correctly, but I'll hook it up. They can stay here or not. And I will take the cord and wrap it around one of the bars so that if for some reason it does drop, it doesn't fall all the way in and burn anything, which these guys aren't more powerful enough to really burn anything. A mistake that I did, I put some bars in here, some branches, so that they could get up there and kind of hang out. They never really use them. So the ones, they just really annoy me. So I should come back and take these out or make them different, because when I will step in this whole thing and grab birds and put them in a box so that my kids can walk them over. And it just makes it really hard to be in there. So I would change that, just get rid of those altogether. Maybe leave one at the very top, or maybe the 2 in the back so they could hop up, but I rarely ever see them use it. Usually I move them sooner than that. Originally I had made this as a coop for them to live in, but I changed my mind. Something else that I did that has worked out really well, I have put a linoleum runner down here, so it's slightly shorter than 4x8. So I put the linoleum in and then just razor cut it and stapled it down. This way I can pull all the wood chips out. So these are just stuff that they've crapped on for the last 2 months. I can pull them out, and then what I'm gonna do to tidy this up for the winter, I'm not gonna use it anymore I don't think, is I will open the front door, take my yard blower and blow everything out. So the other thing, so on the doors are really tough. This guy is a heavy door. I probably should have done it a little different. I do have a weather stripping right here so that it'll keep it a little bit more, and my thought was a little bit drier, a little bit warmer, but really they don't need as much warmth as I was trying to give them. It's too much. You can tell I definitely overkilled this, but it's lasted for a very long time. This guy is, see, I built it in 2020 when we had 2 weeks off for 56 weeks or 52 weeks. Anyway, so I do put a latch up top so you can see that up there, and it just latches right over the door. There's no metal piece on the other side. So yeah, it sticks a little bit, but latch it down. Nobody's ever gotten into it. This guy's been super secure. Back here on the downside, same thing. I've got the leg with the brick and the spike. And so what I'll do for food is, if you hang your food, they tend to eat it better. Now that's too high, but I've got carabiners so I can lower it. And as they get older, let me take that off and show you. So I got some carabiners on there. I can't really do this one-handed. There we go. So it's a whole lot lower to the ground so they can get in there and eat, and they won't kick it out or put junk in it. This is really especially good for the water, so I'll hang the water right there. I can open it up, refill everything. I usually keep an extra couple waters on the side just ready to go. The chicks drink a lot of water. Anyway, this is the coop that I built. It's worked really well. It's super secure. It's really easy because, well, it's all 4x8. It's not really to code because it's a chicken coop, but it is super overcoated for sure. I mean, this guy will probably last a very long time. I did put 2 coats of paint on it. So you can see right here, it was 1 paint. I got some Oops paint from Home Depot. So that's paint that somebody else bought that they didn't want. And you can go buy it for super cheap. And my wife did not like the color of it. She wanted it to match. So I painted them all. So I got this guy over here, got that one over here, and then they all live, what used to be our garden, most of them go in there and hang out, but this is a coop, works really well. I would say if you're looking to start your own chicken flock, something like this is gonna last you a long time. Now, if you're going to leave them in the coop, then you'll have other issues. You're gonna have to clean it out. And I don't, mine free range, so they don't really poop in there very much. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll make another video about the other coop where we don't muck it out very much, but as long as they are going to be protected from the wind, have a way to stay warm, and secure from predators, you are good to go. These auto doors are, man, they're awesome, and that'll let them out, and you can set it either to time or to light. This one's called omelet. I don't know if I really like it going side to side. I think I like the ones that go up and down, or maybe what I should have done is taken this and turned it so it does go up and down to open and close, because the track is on top and on bottom, and it runs on that track, and sometimes junk gets stuck in there and it won't open. So if I had turned it, yeah, it'd be shorter, but chickens figure it out. They know how to duck. Yeah, so anyway, it's going pretty good. Good coop. I should have actually looked up the price, how much it cost me to get this whole thing done. My kids and I built it. I think I have some videos in here of us building it, but that might have been before I realized I could video it and put it on YouTube, because yeah, I'm 50, and sometimes you forget about those things. The other thing that, let me tell you about this. So you see some wires running in here. So I have run electricity over some heavy duty cord, and I just leave it up all the time now. This right here is actually power over Ethernet cable, so I was trying to have a camera out here to watch them, but I keep getting them wet somehow and they keep dying, so I don't do that. But it's nice to have this cord up here, so when it's time, I got a 3-way, and I can just plug them in as needed. I got them all secure. Use the zip ties to keep everything nice and tidy. And this guy has worked very well for me. I think also having it next to some tree for safety is good for him. If it's right out in the open, maybe not the best thing. I probably should have tucked it maybe back over here in the corner a bit more, give him some more shade. But really, my guys don't stay in there for very long anyway. They just sleep for security. The chicks do stay in there. And what I've been doing recently, my new thing, is to take the chicks and, like I said, put them in with the olders. But now I didn't use this the last 2 times. What I did is I left the one group in there, just let them stay in there, and I took the chicks and stuck them underneath a chicken or a hen that was brooding, and she just adopted them, and that worked out way better. And those chickens lasted a lot longer. As I said, predators are a problem, so we got a lot of decoys out here. That way I have at least 20 laying hens, which is hard to do when they can go anywhere, and the predators, well, they're always on the hunt because that's what they do.